Welcome to episode 3 to the Out of Chaos podcast, a discussion based podcast where we try to make sense of the chaotic world we live in. We talk about life, we talk about business, we talk about self development. Let's open our minds to greatness and grow together. We have some valuable content to share with you all, so stay with us to the end. And remember, always share your thoughts, your ideas with us on social media.
So today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to stay motivated. As you know, New Year's just passed. I'm having a lot of people ask me, they're messaging me, asking me, Oscar, like, how do
Nice.
I stay motivated? Like, it's a lot of younger guys too. Especially, I think the younger people are having more trouble. We all are, right? But
Mm.
mostly the younger people. I feel like we can do kind of like old people stuff, which is like read a book, do some research and stuff, which keeps us entertained. But little kids and younger kids, they're so energetic and full of life, so they need to go out but they can't, right? So, what kind of advice do you have for them?
All right, for me, staying motivated, especially in the time period that we're living, right, the global pandemic, it's been really hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a really struggle, like for my mental health and everything. But I actually get admiration from looking at other people. So, I was walking in my car, coming here today, and I saw 3 different people running. And I'm actually like in my neighborhood, like you don't really see a lot of people running unless it was in the morning, and now I'm seeing more people active.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but like I feed off like other people's energy. So when I see other people active and doing stuff in my neighborhood,
Hmm.
especially at 8 p.m. late at night, it's like wow, like it kind of motivates me to want to do it. And like it kind of gave me energy to like I'm like yo, I was gonna text you like yo Oscar, I'm just gonna go for a quick run. We were
Nice.
coming to this podcast. But on that note, uh, yeah, just like finding your own motivation. Like for me, like seeing other people do that, but also like mentally just kind of like blocking everything out, right? Like, yeah, we're living in a global pandemic, but look for ways how you can motivate yourself, right? Like look for different forms. For me, like I don't know, I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but I've always like I'm a big fan of the Rocky movies. So whenever I see the Rocky movie and like his
Yes.
ups and downs, or even the new like the Creed movies
Yeah.
too, like I don't know why, but it just motivates me to like
It
go
amps
outside.
you.
Yeah, I just want to go outside, start
Yeah.
running, and get a punching bag, and start doing,
Yeah. Yeah.
I like go in Philadelphia and start running up the staircase,
Yeah.
But honestly, like, just you gotta look for your own ways, and like you gotta look for how your own personality and the person that you are, right? And how you can motivate yourself to actually pull yourself out. Because right now, I know a lot of people were like out of funk with this pandemic. Like we're like couch potatoes right now,
Yeah.
and honestly, I can't work out at home because it just like it just for me at home my home is like my zen, like where I go and I relax. Like I'm not really like wanting to work out. That's where I
Yeah.
go and I relax. Like I
Yeah.
de-stress. My mind is just like free of everything, you know. So for me, that's why I gotta get outside and seeing people like out there running. Actually, like for me, it was like a big game changer. Now, like I actually think I'm gonna start running now this week. So
Honestly, as you know, like I go on runs at night.
all right,
So many people keep making fun of me for that, but like, it's a funny story, man. Actually, I was running like a week ago.
all right,
I was on my run, and so I always get to this bridge that's close to my house, and once I get there, I just run back, right?
nice.
And on my way back, I'm like running, like sweating, and a car passes by. And he goes like, "Keep running, fatty." Yeah, yeah.
What were you wearing, like thick sweaters or
Like,
something? Were you
I
wearing
don't
like
know.
six sweaters
No,
on
like
the?
I don't like. No, as you know, I've lost. I think I'm on to 35 pounds since
Nice. You're still on the
September.
same journey, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
so I'm officially I think 34 pounds now.
Nice. Congrats,
So like
bro.
that didn't affect. Thank you, man. But that didn't affect me I started laughing, right?
I
But
think anybody would.
yeah, because there's a random guy like I run late too, right? Because it's kind of lame, but I'm a little shy to run during the day,
All
so that's
right.
why I run at night. Like
Right.
Batman, I just like show up only at night, and like I literally just run at night, and it's so cold. but like obviously I got my hoodie, got my scarf, my gloves. I mean that's why, right? I honestly don't think they meant to like actually like me being fat. I think they just because I was running, they're just making fun of me.
Mhm.
But I just found it so funny, and but at the same time it motivated me, right?
Nice.
Because I'm like I actually felt like pretty big like 3 months ago, and now I they are calling me fatty, but I feel better in my own skin. So I even ran faster back home, you
Nice.
know. But the point of this is that running it's just so liberating. You know, obviously with the cold it's a little harder, but running I never thought I would like it. I love it, like the wind in your face, and especially if nobody's around, especially with music or a podcast or something. You can just relax,
Exactly.
right?
You're like you're on your own world, right? So like when I like to run, well, I used to like to run, but I kind of fell out of love with it. But then when gyms were open, I loved running because like because I like to play soccer, right? And
Yeah.
soccer is like 99% is just running, right? So for me, it's the release of endorphins.
Unless you're Messi, apparently, bro. He doesn't run anymore. He just
Or
walks
let's
across
let's
the.
not talk about that.
He just walks across the pitch
I
now.
mean, well, you're the best player in the world. You don't really need to run.
That's a conversation for another podcast.
Fair enough. But getting back to it, for me, it's the release of endorphins, right?
Yeah.
And I love that, right? That feeling, and it's just a natural feeling, and also because it's just like you're sweating, and like it just feels like you're active, right? And I
Yeah.
could be in my own world, like you said, listen to music, listen to podcasts, and I just love that, right? Like I'm in my own thoughts. I can just I can disconnect from the world,
Yeah.
and that's like what I want, and I don't know. For me, I find that motivational in itself.
Yeah.
Like what do you think? Like how
So,
do you?
but like, let's say, for kids
Okay.
that are younger, or if you don't live in like that good of an area, what can you do apart from running?
All right.
You can
well,
run in place.
yeah, you can run on the spot, but I mean, well, I don't like to work out at home, but I would suggest to them, like work out at home,
Yeah.
or just do anything you can do, right? Like, I would say like just go in your living room, just do like some sit-ups, like planks and
Yeah.
push-ups, anything you could do that's like easy, you don't need much equipment.
Yeah, especially with YouTube, there's so many videos.
Exactly,
now
you can
of,
just
like,
YouTube
workouts
easily,
and stuff.
like what kind of different.
I guess we can do this. Like, let's do it in age groups, right?
Okay.
Okay, so let's go from like, what, like, 10 to 15.
All right.
What do you recommend them to do?
For them, I would probably just say, like do like easy stuff because you're just kind of learning, right, how to work out, like basically.
No,
So,
but
yeah.
I'm not just saying like in working out. I'm saying like overall, like
Overall?
to keep them entertained.
To give
I know because I have a brother and a sister, the twins. They're 13,
All right.
so that's kind of like what I'm thinking
Oh, okay,
of. Like,
fair enough. Right.
what kind of stuff do you advise them to keep busy? Like working out.
Yeah.
Is one, right?
I would say read. Just kind of like your knowledge is power, right? And at that age, like you want to like absorb as much knowledge as you can.
Yeah.
So that way, you're always like, like you're ahead of the game, like you know
Yeah.
everything. And for me, I love learning. So, just find the right book that, that you like to learn or the right subject, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And also, I feel with the pandemic, don't forget like to, keep in contact with your friends, socializing.
Yeah.
Because like if you become antisocial, then you're just going to want to be a couch potato. You're just going to want to be in your room, like let's have that human element, let's not get rid of it just because we're in a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like talk to people, like not just your family, but like, see how your friends are doing, They might be going through a hard time or maybe you just want to chat, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, those three things could like be helpful,
I recommend like it's easier said than done because I have a 13-year-old siblings, right?
All right.
And to say like, hey, read a book, they're not gonna do it. at least mine, like they're so distracted. So I've been thinking about this, and it's so perfect. Like, what do they have right now? What these little kids are doing that it's taking so much time is like they're on TikTok and they're on YouTube. Like,
right.
like my little brother's like, I want to be a YouTuber, right? He goes like, oh, so Oscar, like, are you like you're a teacher now, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I want to be a YouTuber. Like, so they're so into their YouTube. My sister, she posted something on TikTok, like one of her little toys, like she opened up, and I think she has like 2K views.
Wow,
like
that's crazy.
So I guess what I recommend is, obviously monitor when they're on social media and stuff, but get them on like online, right? Like maybe not themselves, but get them talking about something they're proud of, doing like a book review, get them active, right? Like because right now they're not really communicating, they're not practicing that like teamwork or communication or presentation skills.
Exactly, which
So
what I
get
was
them on
saying.
Zoom or
Yeah,
something, right? Like
yeah,
or record them, like teaching a lesson or like a show and tell,
show and
right?
tell. Yeah,
Yeah, like stuff like that. I recommend that.
nice.
Like my little brother does exercises too, but what I recommend for him, like, cause so he doesn't play video games all day, would be to do that. I tell him, I'm like, I rented a drum set actually from Long and McQuaid,
Nice.
music store here. It's like 30, $40 a month. I just want to go rent it. I'm like, hey, like, I can teach you the basics. Go to YouTube, put the headphones on, and watch the videos and try to copy. Like, do something, because you
Nice.
can't just be playing video games all
Exactly, right?
day,
Yeah.
right? So stuff like that, right? Like opening up social media channel or like learning an instrument,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
a Zoom call or something.
Exactly. And I feel like picking up an instrument just kind of like opens new like pathways in your brain, because
Yeah.
you're learning something, a new skill, right? So I think that's a great idea, what you suggested to your brother. So.
Yeah, and shout out to Danny again, but Danny, he actually wanted to learn piano,
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember.
right?
Yeah, we were talking about this, on
So
Warzone.
I don't know if you know this, but I actually showed him the notes
Yeah, I
over
remember. Yeah,
Zoom.
you sent that to him.
Yeah, like I'm not the best piano
Piano.
player, nor piano. I'm not a piano teacher,
Yeah.
but like obviously I know where the notes are at least, right? So I grabbed my phone and I just
Hmm.
recorded like the overview of the piano, and I'm just like, yeah, this is C, D, E, whatever.
Nice.
And he's telling me that he really wants to learn. I feel like that is so. I guess that's the point. Instruments,
Yeah.
right? Working out, instruments. Maybe doing like a book
Socializing.
review,
Yeah.
socializing, but maybe via instead of like on your phone all day, like maybe like a Zoom call or
Exactly.
conference, hangout or something like that, right?
Exactly. Because like I said, you want that human element. You don't want to just be like shunning off like everybody just because we're in a pandemic. It's just we're humans. Like we need to socialize. Because we just get too negative and like we get too in our minds. Even if we're
Yeah,
socializing with other people. So that's what I would highly recommend, especially with kids, because you don't want to get them to like their like that human like aspect, just to go
yeah.
down. So
Especially with the parents, man. Like I don't know if you know, like parents right now they're like the ones that have it under control. You guys are like gods, right? Because
yeah,
the parents that like having little kids or little children that you got to take care of and entertain basically 24 hours a day.
yo, shout out to
That's
them.
a lot of respect towards families.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the fact that like they're having like Zoom calls, like, and their kids are playing in the background. Shout out to them, because I wouldn't be able to do that right
Yeah.
now. For me, if I was a parent, I'll be so frustrated right now.
And I want to tell them like it's okay to take a break. Like you need a break. Like I sometimes as parents they're scared that like they don't want to be seen as bad parents.
Right.
As like, oh, I don't take care of my kid or no, it's okay to go for a walk and just get your mind off, because I know kids can be a handful.
Exactly.
Coming from me, like twins, like, they're one would run left and one would run right. So like they were hectic, but and it's okay to take breaks.
Right.
So moving on to like maybe teens to like
Yeah.
early 20s, what I would recommend is something I wish I did when I was that young was like maybe start looking into starting a business,
Nice.
right? Or like volunteering. That's what do you think?
Yeah, no, for me, like, I wish I kind of volunteered more. Like, I know, because in Ontario, we have to, as part of like graduating with your high school diploma, you have to do like a certain amount of volunteer hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. So
40 hours.
40 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just kind of wish like I did more about that. Like I actually like that way I like learned something. I had
Yeah.
maybe like a mentor or something, and so for that, for 15 to like early 20s, I would suggest to people, like look for a mentor, or look for like
Yes.
something like
Yes.
like you can actually like sink your teeth into, like, so then you learn a new skill, or even if you don't learn a new skill, maybe you'll learn something from your mentor, right? Something that you'll take away for the rest of your life. Just something that you could learn for, like, have, you could say, you can look back and be like, yeah, I learned this back from my mentor.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a really good. I didn't think of that, like
Yeah.
a mentor, right? Because you especially like young kids, they need to be mentored. Like
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't really know what I wanted to be a teacher since I was like my last year of high school,
Nice.
but I changed what I was gonna teach midway. I didn't know, right? And there's points where I didn't even want to teach anymore. But like having a mentor or starting to like try out different things early on, I wish I would have volunteered for like television and film. I
Nice.
wish I would have done like more volunteering for high schools. I still did a lot of volunteering, but I think it came too late, right? Or later. But what you said is amazing. Like getting a mentor, that's number one. And there's so
Yeah,
many free services, and even if you have to pay,
exactly.
like it's worth it right now. Like I recommend that for anybody. Like entrepreneurship is hard, but it's so good to work towards something that's gonna belong to your that's
Exactly.
gonna belong to you. That's your own baby, right? Um, I did entrepreneurship, but I did it like in like mid 20s, right, early 20s. So like it was more challenging. I had so much schoolwork and stuff, but teens that have that time, why not? Like you have the time, the
Exactly.
energy. If you're especially if your parents can help you out, it's perfect. An online store, sell some merch, start a digital advertising agency, anything.
Yeah,
Look into it.
exactly. Start your own business, make some extra income. You never know. You're gonna need it. Maybe for college, university. Or get a new car. Your
Yeah,
first car. So I would invest. In looking into ways you can make money besides just like a regular part time job.
yeah.
But
Second income,
second
almost. Yeah,
income exactly. Because I feel like it's just like a nice, valuable skill that you can have, right? Like,
yeah,
like have my own little business. It'll look great on a resume too. Like having these skills that you learn how to like, I don't know, make T-shirts, right?
yeah,
You can sell them, right? And people will like that, like appreciate the hustle,
yeah. And man, I think me and you probably like we didn't go in the same high school. I know that me and you knew like so many hustlers, like good, like
Yeah,
and in a good way, like good business minded kids that like if they I don't know what happened to them, but like if they continued with that mentality, they would go far in life.
exactly,
If they
right?
applied it to where it mattered, it would go far, right? I didn't have that mentality, but I was more like like video games,
Yeah, it's like
like
whatever, right?
chill with my friends,
Yeah, like we're playing soccer,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but that's the one thing I regret the most, and that's why we're sharing this with you guys. Because if there's one thing that age group, it doesn't just pertain to them. I'm saying them because they have to start younger is always better, right?
exactly.
But even if you're like mid 20s or even your 30s or 40s, like take this time and look into starting a business. Flipping houses, like buying something and putting your name on it and just reselling it. Good quality,
Exactly.
anything. Look into it. There's so many potential business ideas out there, and yeah,
Yeah, man. I mean, like, look for like these side hustles that you could do, because I don't know. Speaking from a Torontonian perspective, like you're gonna need a little extra income, because the
yeah,
city's getting expensive. Just different ways,
yes,
because
yes,
the way of life in Toronto is just way more expensive, and looking for these side hustles, but at the same time, look for something that you want to do, that you like to do, because it just helps you become more like established and become more balanced within your life, and you'll be more happy, right? Because you're doing a side hustle that you like to do, or
yeah,
like maybe you were just interested in, like like it was a curiosity or as a
exactly.
hobby, right? So you never know.
Because one advice is do something that you're good at, right? Like
Exactly.
if you're creative, then. But I want to push people to kind of do something they're not good at, because then you can get good at it,
Yeah.
And obviously, if there's enough time that you spend on it, and then you don't become good, then maybe you can move on, right? But like for me, speaking, like this is a lot of many people told me because of my characteristics, they knew I would be a good teacher. But other people, they know me as really shy. Like I get really shy sometimes, or public speaking, I would like stutter and I would
Yeah.
sweat. So they'd be like, "You want to be a teacher?" But this is the thing, like whether it was either or,
Right.
I learned and I practiced. I volunteered for my practicum. I had to teach hours of classes and get good at what I wasn't good at. So that's what I recommend. Like if you're not good at something but you want to be good at, just do it. Right now is the
Exactly.
moment, right? But I want to leave you guys with this, like, and you can elaborate on it. Like I want to talk about like self improvement, because remember, this has been the theme over the last two episodes where
Exactly.
nothing you do matters if you don't have the right mindset. And it's hard, especially when you're young, is you can't expect like a 15-year-old kid to be like mature, like
Yeah.
super mature, right? So from a young age, start working towards your maturity, your confidence, your wisdom. You know, again, I don't know if it's 10,000 hours or something, but the saying is it takes 10,000 hours or 10 years to become a professional at something. So
Yeah.
the sooner you get started, the faster you'll be a professional, right?
Exactly, right? And no, like on that note, like you want to build yourself, right?
Yeah,
So like I mean, yeah, it's better to start like at an early age, but you also want to build yourself, right? Like you want to build who you are. You want to either build yourself as like, maybe as a business person, you get into those courses, do some readings, and just look for different ways that you become the person that you want to be. You want to learn, you want to become a new person, I don't know, then you got to look for the improvement in yourself.
exactly.
You got to motivate yourself. You got to look for different ways. And for me, personally, like I don't know about you, but I'm really hard on myself because
Mm.
I always try to be the best I can at anything. And when I'm not hard on myself, I can tell like right away, like yo,
Yeah,
like my character and my behavior is so bad, like I'm
yeah,
doing everything so terrible. So like when I'm hard on myself, it's because I'm giving 110%,
I
and
like
that's the
that.
mentality that everybody should have. I feel it's like I recommend to everybody that when you do something, do it with heart, because like if you don't do it with heart, you're just gonna be like half-assing everything. Like no, like
Exactly.
you cannot live your life like that at all. Like I'm
But that
sorry.
comes with maturity, right?
Exactly.
And like for the last part, like I want to talk about the four top things. Like I put here, maturing, confidence, mastering, and practice.
Right.
So what I want to say with these, I want to leave you guys with this is focus on those four things, right? Focus on maturing yourself, on being confident, because it's not the same thing. It's not, right? On mastering something and practice, which is pretty similar, right?
Exactly.
So how do you mature, right? Align again. There's so many things that can cause you to mature. I'll give two. Maybe you can give two.
Okay.
For me, surround yourself by people who have a view of their future, who have decent upbringing, and
Exactly.
who have maybe their entire family intact. Like someone that has good morals, right? Surround yourself by those people who are intelligent and stuff, right? Not just people who make you laugh and people who just you can have fun with, right? That's one way of maturing. And for me, a second way of maturing is finding some moral standard to believe in, whether it's God or your own standards. Find a standard and stick to it,
Exactly.
and
Have
apply
some
yourself.
values.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you
So
think?
for me, I feel to mature, there's two different ways. So there's this expression in Spanish. I'll say it in Spanish and then I'll translate it in English. So it's like, para madurar, necesita aceptar las cosas que no le va a gustar. And what that means is to mature, you have to accept the things that you won't like. And you know why? Because in life, like life is not fair, first of all. And life is gonna deal with you with like a lot of like ups and downs.
Yeah.
And so when you accept that the fact that maybe things won't go your way, you will be prepared and you'll have like that foot to become overcome that that setback.
Yeah.
And when you have that mentality, you become more mature because you're like, all right, like you don't let any setbacks get you down. You don't run to mom or daddy. You don't have that mentality, right? You have
Exactly.
an adult mentality, like okay, like you can overcome these adversities. And then second, I would say to be mature, like it's along the lines of what you were saying, but surround yourself with like winners. Like surround yourself with like there's an expression that says, if you surround yourself with five business people, you'll be the sixth business person. If you surround yourself with five lazy people, then you're gonna be the sixth lazy person.
Yeah.
So I feel like that mentality is the type that if you want to become a more mature person and you want to become the person that you want to be, then stick to like a value and your ideals, and be like surround yourself with the right people because they'll have the right mentality and you'll all share ideas from each other and have the right idea and goals and energy to become like the sixth business person, the sixth lawyer, whatever you guys want to be. You have that goal and become that person that you want to be. That's how you mature.
And that's the thing, because some people would be like, okay, but surrounding myself with these people, it depends what you define as mature as well. That's a
Right.
problem too, right? Because what's mature for me can not be mature for someone else. So again, that's why for me, the most important part is to find some moral standards to believe in.
Absolutely.
That's the thing, because if you don't have any moral standard, like you won't have nothing to reference back to. right? Because one moment, which I've seen time and time again, one moment you're with this group, and then like the wind turns, and then you're with this group, and then you're lost in your life, you know. But once you have a moral standard to believe in, then you like let's say it's that, right? Let's say it's like I want to surround myself by business people. Then you should always do that, and that should be your goal,
Exactly.
right? And again, it goes back to out of the chaos, right? Going back to the premise of this podcast is like whatever you do, which is in entrepreneurship and chasing a dream, and even in like exercising, the goal is to it's not to become skinny. The goal is not to become a massive like Mr. Olympia. That
Yeah.
shouldn't be the goal. Like just to become it. It's what's chaos to you, right? Let's say at home there's no money. You want to make a name for yourself because maybe that's gonna make you feel like your life was worth it. That's
Exactly.
chaos at that moment. But then if you succeed and chase your dream and achieve it, you will be out of the chaos, right? For me, I didn't want to lose 35 pounds because I just wanted to be skinny. I had a goal since I was young to always be a certain weight, and I can never really achieve it. And it made me feel comfortable, right? I'm not there trying to get a six pack or try to look shredder. Like for me, it's just I just want to wear a shirt and feel comfortable in my own skin,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
And before that, I felt like my life was chaos, like in regards to like my fitness, right? So again, like before you do anything, the level of maturity, all like everything lands on you having that moral standard. You
Exactly.
have to have it. Like, and that's the thing. That's the problem with teenagers, right? Like, they don't have one. They
No.
don't have one. Like they meet a nice girl, right? They'd be like, as long as she's pretty, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She can come from a broken home. She can do this. Let's just date. Where's the standard there? But if you put like, okay, I like her, but let there be this process, right? Like I believe that, like I believe in family, and if she doesn't believe in family, then we have a problem, no matter how pretty she is,
Exactly.
right? But teenagers don't think that way.
No.
You're
No.
like, oh
No.
my god, pretty girl,
Pretty girl.
let
Yeah.
me simp.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Yeah, so
But
that's the
no.
problem, right?
And that's like on speaking on that. No, you need your values. You need that set like morality in yourself. Because if not, then you're always gonna be this person that relies on other people and what they think.
Yeah.
Exact. And like that's part of maturing. You become your own person and you care what you think. You don't care about what other people think, right? And that's how, for me, like I set my own moralities and my own standards. And now look, I graduated with my urban studies degree. Now I'm looking to achieve my honors, and now I want to become like get into the master's program. But how did I do that? Like I set my moralities and like my own standards to like like let's push it, like let's give it 100%, and not just do this because I just want to get a job and like I
Mm.
get a university degree. Like no, like I want to do this because it's what I like to do. It's what I love to do. And part of like maturing for me was just like like pushing myself consistently, to be somebody like that I want to be, not just because I'm just gonna go with the flow and
Yeah.
So it's just having that tenacity within yourself.
And I want to leave everybody with this. Like, I feel like this is even before a moral standard. Is this you have in order to mature, you have to. It's actually even in the Bible, and it's actually psychology professors always say it, right? Like, is you have to be willing to be the fool. You have to be okay with being a fool, and that's the problem. Like, everybody wants to be like, oh, like I'm this, I'm
Yeah,
that,
like I'm the
right?
smartest guy in
But
the room.
but
Yeah,
it's okay to be a fool sometimes, and I'm not saying like dumb. I'm not like a jokester. I'm saying a fool like to be a little ignorant, to not know everything. You know.
exactly.
Again, I always heard this amazing quote that's like a true leader is always gonna be seeking out like learning experiences. Like just because you're a leader doesn't mean you stop learning, right?
Exactly.
A true leader. So those leaders that like they think they know everything or they achieved everything, they're not real leaders. They can maybe their title is leader, but they're not real leaders, right? So similarly, like you have to be willing to be the fool, right? You have to be, especially at a young age, you have to be okay with making mistakes and be like, wow, that was dumb.
Right. Yeah.
Like that was dumb, right? And you have to be okay with that. And that's the problem with a lot of young kids. Myself, when I was that age, I was the same way. I thought I knew everything too.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to be the fool in order to actually find a life worth living. And
Exactly.
that goes not just for younger kids or teenagers. That goes for adults too. and it's harder for adults, right, to do that. But going back to like where you find as maturity is you have to be willing to be okay with not being mature for a while. You know, I know so many kids that always tell me, I'm mature for my age. I've heard
Yeah.
that so many times.
Oh,
I'm
no,
mature for
no,
my.
don't get me.
The
Yeah.
moment you say that, I'm gonna say something. I never said it, but maybe I act like that, right?
Right.
But I have heard so many teenagers say that because they want to feel mature, and that's the problem. It's okay. You're a teenager. You're learning. You're gonna do
Exactly.
dumb
Live your
things.
life, you know,
If
for
adults do dumb things, kids are gonna do a lot more dumb things. But you have to be okay.
yeah.
And once you're like, okay, I'm a fool, but I'm gonna take this moment and start to learn. So one day I'm not a fool, then you have a chance of a better future than most people.
Exactly. And you always got to be open-minded to like actually understand like yo, like the whole chaos of this world, you know? It's like everybody's going to go through like ups and downs and you know, you're going to have to like the worst experiences in your life, but gotta like, come out of this and actually like learn from it. And that's part of like maturing, you know,
Yeah.
going back on that note, you know. It's like yo actually learning like okay, well, this is bad, you know, maybe I didn't know everything and I could have like
Yeah.
learned from a different perspective,
True.
you know. So that's a good way to end this podcast.
100%.
Yeah.
And again, if any kids or anybody that's listening to this and you need help, you need a mentor, like I volunteer at North York Community Center. I myself am a mentor there. Us like being university graduates
Yeah.
and older in age,
Yeah.
wisdom, we can definitely help you guys out or guide you in the right direction or to someone who can help you out. And feel free to reach out and message us privately or in a chat asking for help. You know, we're here for you. That's why we're doing this. So, again, that's a wrap for today's episode. Again, if we brought value, we thank you. Please consider subscribing on our YouTube channel, following us on Out of Chaos Podcast on Instagram. As we know, chaos is unavoidable. We're here to shine some light in the craziness of the world and bring clarity to various subjects that we discuss. So catch you guys on the next one and see you later.
Take care.